Hey guys, and welcome back to another language convention tutorial. Today we will be talking about syntax errors. The two syntax errors that I will be seeing with you guys today are splices and run-on sentences. Let's start with splice. What are splices? A comma splice or comma fault is the wrong use of a comma to join two independent clauses. In other words, it's when you join 2 points that are being separated with a comma, but in a wrong way. The comma is not in the right place and doesn't make any sense in the sentence. Here are some examples of splices. I often walk the dogs on the beach. They love splashing in the waves. My football team won the championship. We are the winning team. I love going to the movies. It's so fun. In the first one, the two different points being made are walking the dogs on the beach and the action of splashing in the waves. The comma is placed to try and separate the two, but clearly makes the sentence confusing and harder to understand. Instead of putting a comma, you can make one sentence adding a subordinating conjunction or simply put a period to make two sentences. Just like this. When you add a subordinating conjunction, you will have, because I often walk the dogs on the beach, they love splashing in the waves. Here, because is the subordinating conjunction, making the sentence more fluid to say. It also makes the first topic dependent on the second, so it allows the sentence to make more sense. Adding a period between subject gives you, I often walk the dogs on the beach. They love splashing in the waves. The period marks a stop for the reader to see that the points here are being different. Why do we use splices? We use splices to make the reader realize that commas can still be used in their work. They just have to properly know how to use them and put them in a sentence without ruining the grammar or the logic. How do we use them? Look through your work for any sentences with comma. Then, look where the commas is being placed in the sentence. If the sentence has a weird structure or the subject before the comma doesn't relate to the one after, chances are you need to move the comma, fix it using any of the examples I just gave, or remove it completely. We try to avoid splices because two topics don't always go great together. We need to separate them to make the paragraph more fluid. Now, let's go on to the run-on sentences. What is a run-on sentence? A run-on sentence occurs when two or more independent clauses, also known as complete sentences, are connected improperly. In other words, it's when you have, again, two independent sentences, but this time are not separated with anything. The writer takes multiple topics and makes the sentence way too long for anyone to understand. Here are some examples. I love to write papers. I would write one every day if I had the time. There were no seats left. We had to stand in the back. We went to the store. We bought the ingredients on our list, and then we went home. The first one is a run-on sentence because two independent ideas are being made but put in one phrase. There is no punctuation or conjunction to make it flow. Again, there are multiple ways to fix or correct a run-on sentence. The first one, make two different sentences by adding a period, which will give you, I love to write papers. I would write one every day if I had the time. Here, the period marks a pause to start with the new point. The second one is using a semicolon to separate the independent clauses, which gives you, I love to write papers. I would write one every day if I had the time. Here, the semicolon gives you a break. It gives a break to the reader and start the next phrase with a different point. If you're confused with what the semicolon is and you need a better definition, you can always go see Emilie Desjardins' YouTube tutorial. The third way to correct a run-on sentence is using a comma and a coordinating conjunction, which gives you, I love to write papers, and I would write one every day if I had the time. Here, the and is the coordinating conjunction and is allowing the reader to keep one sentence, but make it a lot more fluid for the reader. The fourth one is using a subordinated conjunction with one of the topics, which gives you, Because I love to write papers, I would write one every day if I have the time. Because here is the subordinate conjunction. It is used to make the first topic independent on the second to give the sentence a strong finish while keeping it whole. Why do we use run-ons? We use run-ons to make the writer realize that sentences can't always be long. The reader loses interest and will be lost in all the different topics. Use variety. Make your sentences long, medium, and short to keep the reader hooked on your work. How to use a run-on sentence. Look through your paper for long sentences. If they have multiple subjects that could be separated or divided, or no punctuation or conjunctions, you have found yourself a run-on. There are two types of run-ons, and comma splices are one of them. Although they have certain similarities, they are not the same. Let's compare. A run-on sentence is made up of two or more independent clauses that are not joined correctly or which should be made into separate sentences. A comma splice is the incorrect use of a comma to join two independent clauses. In other words, this means that a run-on sentence can be made of multiple topics, and these sentences are too long to keep as one. A comma splice is when you use or place a comma incorrectly in the sentence. Both are to make sure that your work flows and is captivating for the reader to explore. This is going to be all for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed my second tutorial, and hopefully you guys now know what is a splice and run-on sentence and the difference between them.